Hello everybody, and welcome to your weekly MTA service changes video for the Queens Subways and the Long Island Railroad for the weekend of June 29th, 2018, and lasting until Sunday, July 1st, 2018. A lot that needs to be discussed in this video today. We're going to talk about a crazy hectic weekend coming for the 7 train. We're also going to be talking about a few changes for the Long Island Railroad, and good news, bad news for Astoria train riders, and bad news for local service on the Queens Boulevard main line. Quickly, before I get into the Long Island Railroad, that will be at the end of this video, but 2 things I need to bring up. Number 1, I'm still waiting to find out when the new schedules will come out for the time period after July 20th, because the current schedules on all of the branches are set to expire on the 20th, and we don't know any word as of June 29th. Yeah, today is June 29th. We don't know any word if the schedules are going to be coming out on the MTA's website. That's what I want to know. So hopefully after the 4th, we'll get more information about the Long Island Railroad schedules being changed, because it has to do with the Amtrak project over at Penn Station, and it'll impact me this summer for many reasons that I have talked about before, particularly how's it going to impact the station tour video with MTA Prodigy on August 25th, how's it going to impact the strip from Brooklyn, how's it going to impact Matt Camper coming from Merrick, because my parents are going to be driving me out there, but I of course need to know when they're coming out to the train station so we can do the video out there, and obviously I need to know, bottom line, when I get back from Delaware in next month, how is the schedules going to be changed on the Huntington branch, because I'll be very annoyed if they change the 1121 eastbound train to Huntington from New Hyde Park, because I'm hoping because that's the one train I don't want to see getting impacted. They have to change the eastbound train at Limbrook. I get the whole thing, but you know, that one mainline train has a lot to do with the Nice Bus schedules. So Nice Bus has changed their schedules around, so that's one thing with the Long Island Railroad. And another thing I want to go into is that yay! Ronkonkoma service is not impacted this weekend. No double track project between Hicksville and Ronkonkoma, so there's no buses. Yay! It's very good news. So hopefully there won't be that much traffic this weekend if I'm heading out east, because I was talking with my parents that I may have to have dinner with them after my mom gets her hair done, but that's a whole different story. So without further ado, before I go completely off topic, because again, I've wanted to make 2 Long Island Railroad points I couldn't do in this PowerPoint, let's get straight into the Queens subways. So good news, bad news situation. Here's the bad news. There's going to be no N trains in Astoria again due to the track work. I know, it stinks, but I have good news. I found this out from the Weekender website. This has been planned for an entire month. And the good news is, this is the last weekend of it. Yay, I know, it's good news for you people out in Astoria with your beloved elevated tracks. So, let's get into the usual hotspots again. You all know it by now. The usual time frame. Usually it's Saturday and into Sunday night. There will be no N service between Astoria Dip Mars and Queensboro Plaza. Yet again, the usual hotspots. N trains will still run regular service between Coney Island, Stillwell Avenue, and Queensboro Plaza. Shuttle buses will be available this weekend between Dip Mars and Queensboro Plaza, so you will have the option of using your Metro card to go on the bus and then transfer onto the subway. So you do have it right here. You will be able to go to Queensboro Plaza for the E, N, R, and 7 trains, because I have to get into the situation with the M in the next slide after the W train, which I need to discuss immediately. Just a reminder, W's do not run on the weekends, and we need to get into the situation. So we have electrical improvements that are going to impact W train service. W train service will end early tonight at 8:45 p.m. So I'm urging everyone, if you need to go into Astoria tonight, please use the N and the R trains. I'm not going to stress this out again. Or, if you need service to Queensboro Plaza, the 7 will also be available. Or, if you want service to Queensboro Plaza, you will have the E train and the N. So just remember that. The N will be your friend this weekend, and somewhat, but the people in Astoria, they have to deal with buses again. I know it's a headache, but too bad. It has to be done, the track work. It has to be done. That elevated structure needs tender, loving care. 7's going to be available, just remember that. There'll be no overnight service on the Times Square shuttle, so please remember, if you're traveling overnight, just use the 7 train. It'll be a little bit of a headache going between Grand Central and Times Square, but I can understand the struggle. Will the M be available this weekend? Well, that's the bad news. Beginning tonight, M train service will end early between Forest Hill, 71st Avenue, and the Lonte Street in Brooklyn due to track maintenance. So there will be no M train again. And there's even bad news on the R train. There's going to be track replacement that's going to impact local service. And I have to talk about local service on the E, because I never realized E's run local on weekends, but apparently they do, which I never knew that. So we have planned track work this weekend. Bay Ridge bound R trains will run express on the Queens Boulevard main line between Forest Hill, 71st Avenue, and Queens Plaza. The work will take place starting tomorrow and ending on July 1st, which is Sunday. For local service, you can transfer at Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue for the next eastbound train, or if you need service past Jackson Heights, Roosevelt, you can get the next eastbound Forest Hills bound train at Queensboro Plaza. I know it's a little bit of an inconvenient stress, but I am only looking out for you guys. You do have an option. Alright, so just remember that. Now, if you're going to be going to the Queen Center Mall as an example this weekend, because I know it's going to be hot. If you want to go to the Queen Center Mall, the best thing I can recommend you do is just get on the R train from, let's just say, I don't know, Forest Hill, 71st Avenue, you're around that area. You can go to Roosevelt and go that way. But the people who are seeking westbound service along Queens Boulevard, unfortunately, I'm going to have to recommend you take the Q60 bus. I know it's a little bit inconvenient. I didn't put this in the slide, but if you are seeking service to the Queen Center Mall, just take the Q60 or the Q88. So please remember that. So the E is going to be available, but here's the thing. There's going to be no local service westbound between Forest Hills, 71st Avenue, and Queens Plaza due to track replacement. So the best thing I can recommend you do, like I said with the R train, is to just remember one thing. You can go westbound and then backtrack eastbound. The track work will take place between 9:45 p.m. tonight and ending on Monday morning, July 2nd at 5 a.m. We have track maintenance on the F, beginning tonight and lasting until Monday morning. Coney Island bound F trains will run via the E from Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue to Canal Street, and then via the A train in Brooklyn to J Street Metrotech. F trains will be stopping at West 4th Street. So I'm just going to leave this right now. I'm not going to go in depth, but I'll leave this information here. What I want you all to do is, if you're on your phone right now and you are at any of the impacted stations on this list, If you're watching this on your phone or your tablet, please take a screenshot of the impacted station. So I'm going to leave it up for the next couple of seconds if you need to do what you have to do. So now that we got the subways out of the way, and I know the track maintenance is a big headache, especially on a hot weekend, and I know you may have to sweat it out down the tunnel. I just am looking out for you guys. So this is your last chance to take a screenshot, so please do it now before you can rewind back if you have to, but yeah, it's just a big headache. One thing I want to highlight is Queens. At 21st Street Queensbridge, you can take the Q66 or the Q100, or you can transfer at Queens Plaza. Same with Roosevelt, you can take the Q102 bus, go to Queens Plaza, and then just use your Metro card to transfer. Plain simple. So, we got that out of the way. And lastly, in this video, the usual. We have 4 major service changes this weekend on the LIRR. First up, we're going to go to the Far Rockaway branch. What's going on over there on the Far Rockaway branch? To accommodate structural maintenance to the Gibson pedestrian bridge, buses will replace Far Rockaway trains in both directions between Jamaica and Far Rockaway, starting at 10 o'clock in the evening on Saturday, June 30th, and continuing all day on Sunday, July 1st. Thankfully, this will not impact regular weekday service on the Far Rockaway branch, so people's commutes will not be impacted. So that's very good news regarding the Far Rockaway branch on the regular weekday service, but this has to be done. Structural maintenance is a very big deal, and if it doesn't get done, bad things can happen. So they're going to have to suck it up and take the buses this weekend. Hopefully it will not be cheese buses, and hopefully it will be coach buses. Next issue we are going to talk about is Long Beach branch. How's that looking this weekend? To accommodate track maintenance work in the Valley Stream area, departure times for some weekend Long Beach branch trains will change this Saturday, June 30th, and Sunday, July 1st. Here is the Sterling service that will be affected. On Friday, June 29th, an extra westbound train will depart Long Beach at exactly 11:59 p.m., making all the local stops to Jamaica. And then we have the impacted work on Saturday, June 30th and Sunday, July 1st. Westbound Long Beach branch trains will depart up to 40 minutes later than usual. Eastbound, the 12:15 train from Penn Station to Long Beach will depart 10 minutes earlier at 12:05 p.m. And of course, please go on to the Long Island Railroad's website if you are looking for the PDF link. I encourage you all to take a look at that. This is also going to impact the West Hempstead branch this weekend. There's actually going to be buses on the West Hempstead branch this weekend. So here's the situation. Starting at 10 p.m. Friday, June 29th, and continuing all day on Saturday, June 30th, buses are going to be replacing trains between West Hempstead and Valley Stream to accommodate the track maintenance work in the Valley Stream area. So here is the service that will be impacted on Friday. You have the 10:37 p.m. train from West Hempstead to Valley Stream will be canceled. And then you have the 11:13 eastbound train from Valley Stream to West Hempstead. That will be canceled as well. So both trains are going to be accommodated by bus service. Here's Saturday impacts. Customers at stations at West Hempstead through Westwood will board buses up to 34 minutes later than normal train times. At Valley Stream, customers will board trains for service to points west. Customers traveling to stations westward through West Hempstead will transfer to the buses at Valley Stream. Please plan for up to 18 minutes of additional travel time. Here's the service on Sunday, July 1st. at stations West Hempstead through Westwood. Some westbound trains will depart up to 30 minutes earlier than normal train times. The 2:50 p.m. and 10:50 p.m. trains from West Hempstead will terminate at Jamaica. So this is interesting. The 2:50 p.m. train, if you are going to the city on Sunday, I recommend, if you're going to be taking the West Hempstead branch, please take the 2:50 p.m. train from West Hempstead, because you won't have to transfer at Valley Stream. So that's very good news in that perspective. And same with the 10:50, I recommend the same thing as well. Eastbound connecting trains from Penn will depart up to 30 minutes earlier than usual. You can transfer at Valley Stream for service into West Hempstead. So the only headache will be, unfortunately, Saturday. But Sunday, it looks like service is going to come back. So that's very good news. And then lastly, we are going to discuss the Port Washington branch, again affected by the PTC testing between Woodside and Bayside. Alright, so train service between Penn and Port Washington will be reduced from half-hourly to hourly to accommodate the PTC again. Train service will be affected as follows. Eastbound trains to Port Washington will depart Penn Station hourly, beginning with the 5:18 a.m. departure from Penn to Port Washington. Westbound trains to Penn Station will depart Port Washington hourly, beginning with the 7:42 a.m. departure from Port Washington to Penn Station. So, thankfully, it's not that complicated. Only the wee early morning people who need train service on weekends are going to be impacted. But the PTC has to get done. I'm sorry, but if this PTC has to get done, and the PTC will also take place again next weekend, July 7th, and of course July 8th. So, yeah, that's going to wrap up your weekly MTA service changes videos for the Queens Subways and the Long Island Railroad. Once again, I'm going to remind everybody on the Ronkonkoma branch, your service will not be impacted. Same with the Huntington Port Jefferson branch, that will not be impacted as well. So I'm only looking out for people on the main line. And same with the Oyster Bay branch, you will have regular train service on there as well. And unfortunately, the preppy little Babylon branch is going to keep its service as well. So honestly, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you have all this complicated stuff, and I want to quickly mention with the Long Beach thing. Thankfully, there will be no buses between Long Beach and Valley Stream like there was. It was Limbrook. It was Limbrook. Now I remember. Because if you remember, a couple months ago, they were putting the concrete ties in on the Reynolds Channels Bridge that links up Island Park and Long Beach. So thankfully, the good news is it's not going to be that much of an impact on the Long Beach branch, but I do recommend to please look for the timetables again on the MTA's Plan Service Changes website. Very important that you check that. So that's going to wrap up this week's video. Thank you for watching, and remember, please plan extra travel time in general so you get to your destination on time. And till the next video, everyone, take care.